And if you didn't hear that, because I was just putting my microphone on, I am LeeAnne Homsey, and I am here to tell you about tips for better tips and how to make more money as a server, regardless of where you work and what type of restaurant you work in. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. I know your time is valuable, and so I'm doing this in about an hour. I'm going over what is I call the server's tips, server's VIP triangle, and I'm hoping that you have that printed out so you'll be able to use that and follow along with me. But just quickly, I wanted to say, depending on where you work, you may have to check with your managers or bosses before you try some of these things. And I think you'll know which ones I'm talking about. They'll be the ones that are things like doing a tasting table or doing anything social networking, and I'll explain a little bit more about that, but just know they're really easy techniques. The things that I'm going to tell you about are really, really simple, and what this whole tool is to everyone who comes into your restaurant is basically one of these people, and usually what we do is we experience the customer as somebody that's happening to us, and then after they leave, we take the percentage that we're expecting to have from them and then move on. But what this tool does, and what my idea is to create more of a foundation for people who are going to come back over and over and over again. They're not going to be anonymously leaving and you'll never see them again. They're going to become passionately involved with you as a server, and they'll really appreciate your efforts and what you do. But it all starts here at the bottom. So let's quickly go over the first couple of things, and the boxes on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 5 boxes on the bottom. It doesn't matter which ones you use, or if there's an order in which you want to go, you can use any one of them or more than one of them. I find that it's hard to focus on more than 2. So for instance, if I'm focusing on grabbing it or getting my name in it, meaning getting my name in the sentence, it's just a lot if I'm also thinking about all the other boxes so if you just want to focus on 2, maximum, that will definitely start to help you right away. Okay, so let me get started. I'll just go through the first one, which is called Grab It, and this is it's basically looking at your restaurant differently than the way that you experience it now. Right now, you're experiencing your restaurant as your station. There's side work, there's universal rules, but what basically you can start doing is making money before anybody else starts making money, and that's by doing things like grabbing it. And I'll explain. If it's raining or if it's the holidays and there's lots of people coming in with bags and things like that, being close to the door and helping out when people are coming in is the first opening for the conversation that you're going to start creating, that's going to change who you are. You're not just a server anymore. You're somebody who's helping them in a way that you're not even supposed to. So helping people with their coats, their bags, things like that, you're grabbing it, you're grabbing the door, you're pulling it open if they've got more than one thing in their hand or a briefcase. You're helping them open the door and getting them in, and now it's almost like they're obligated to have a conversation with you. And hey, welcome, thanks for coming in. Is there a reservation I can check you in under? And then when they say, yeah, it's Mr. Jones, you turn to your hostess and you say, Ashley, this is Mr. Jones. I'm going to go check his things. Do you know where he's sitting so I can bring the coat check ticket over? And she probably doesn't know where he's sitting, but you already know his name. So when she says, I'm not sure, just say, well, I hope he's sitting with me, and then leave, so that he can say, wow, no one else in this restaurant has helped me with the door. Nobody has helped me with my coat. No one has introduced me, and that one person knows my name. I want to sit with her. So you've already seeded your station with somebody who appreciates you for doing more than, you haven't even taken an order, you haven't gone to his table and tried to upsell him yet. All you've done is introduce him to somebody, and now you have his name. And he's gonna want to sit with you. He's gonna say, "Oh, I'll sit with her, thanks." And so, before anybody else has even gotten seated, you've taken control of the first person walking in, and he's probably gonna tip you for taking his coat and his bag. So you're already starting to make money before anybody else. Now, it doesn't matter what anyone else in the restaurant thinks. They're all gonna think you're nuts trying to do more than you need, more than required. I mean, that's just not the standard. We don't go out of our way to create more work for ourselves as servers, so they're going to think it's crazy. So who cares? Who cares? This is all about you, and you're building a foundation, you're building building blocks that will start taking care of themselves. So this is just step number one, all right? I don't want to lose you, but there's a lot to cover, and what it's going to do is create a station that's on autopilot, so you never have to worry about guests, and they're all going to be coming in. You're going to know all of their names. I mean, that's the goal for me, for you, is to get people who are walking in here and they're just regular people, two eyes, two arms, and they eat and they leave, and you want to get them up to here where they're your VIPs. Not that they're VIPs feeling like they deserve special treatment. This tool is to get people to your VIP, so that they understand that they are a VIP in your world, and they can disappear like that. You can become, they can turn back into an average customer really easily if they, well, let's just say they won't be snapping their fingers or rude with you, trust me. All right, so moving along kind of quickly, the next block is called Get Your Name in It. I'm a big fan of anybody knowing who I am when I have a service to provide. Okay, now I think all of my students are here, so I keep it the class small, so that if you have anything that you've missed, you can email it. I'm not sure I know how to turn on the chat box, but I'll do that. I'll try to do that later on, so that if you have any questions, we'll get that going, and there's only a couple of you that we can talk really candidly. Okay, so the next block is called Get Your Name in It. And this is when I write an opportunity to get your customer's name and remember yours. This is a great, what we just discussed with Mr. Johnson is, would you like to check, can I check you in? And Mr. Johnson say, yes, Mr. Johnson. Oh, Mr. Johnson, this is Ashley. That's great, because you already have his name, but you want to now get any opportunity to get your name into sentences. So anytime anybody asks you for anything in your station, you don't want to sound too canned, but anytime you get a chance to, if somebody says, can I have an extra lemon? You're in LeeAnne's station, you can have a whole lemon tree. Now, you didn't say yes, and you didn't say absolutely, because that's what we're trained to say, yes, that hospitality is saying yes and going crazy, the extra mile. So hospitality isn't exactly that. It's doing what's unexpected, and creating a memorable experience starts with things that are out of the ordinary. So if you can get your name into those sentences too, where when they leave, they know that they could have had a lemon tree in LeeAnne's station or Rachel's station, but if they're going to go dine, they're going to start thinking about the people that they know, people that know them personally, and that they know personally, that they can call by name. I don't know that I know too many servers that I can call by name, and I eat out a lot, and nobody seems to want to make that a priority, and all they have to do is throw their name into a sentence every once in a while. So can I get an extra napkin? Absolutely. You're in LeeAnne's station, you can have whatever you want, and make it seem like it's authentic and from the heart. And you'll start getting people more and more who understand that they can call you by name if they're good customers, and if not, if they're finger snapping and not really gracious, then you can get you don't want to make sure that they're requesting you. So when Mr. Jones says, or Mr. Johnson, when you walked away with his coat and said, you know, I hope he's sitting with me, and he says, yes, I'll sit with her. When he does sit down, you want to go back to Ashley, the hostess, and say, just so you know, Mr. Johnson has requested me. So every time that reservation comes up now in Open Table, Mr. Johnson's name is also going to be affiliated with your name. So he's automatically going to be sat in your station. Just because you said the words, I hope he's sitting with me, you approached a total stranger, asked if you could help with his things, and you said, I hope he's sitting with me. So now when you go back to the hostess, he has requested you because she obviously heard that, you know, he wants to sit with you. So end of story. You now have a request. That's one person that you never have to think about while you're standing watching other servers get sat, and you're like, oh, I wish I could start getting money right away. That's one person in one day that you already know is going to be sat in your station every time you make a reservation. Okay, that's the kind of thing that you want to start doing just for a week or two, you know, that will make your job effortless, because you don't have to work at getting customers anymore. You don't have to watch other people getting the customers. They're all going to be yours. So hang out by the front door, make friends with the hostess, and grab things for people, carry things for people, and get your name in it so they know who's doing it for them. These are just the very, very beginning steps of making a foundation where your whole section will run on its own from the very beginning. When the restaurant first opens, that's when you want to start getting customers, because that way when everyone else gets hit with the weeds, because everyone's dining at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock depending on where you are, all those open tables are now going to be set, boom, 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 and that's when you obviously get in the weeds. But you have already grabbed the first couple of customers as soon as they walked in, so they're already sitting in your station. Now when the crunch comes, they're finishing up, so they're getting up, you're getting sat, 1,
Shopping
2,
online is now easier than ever. We offer free
you're getting sat much more smoothly, and that's the optimal for any restaurant, really. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next box, which is called thank you. I do talk about hospitality. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. Hospitality means, you know, being gracious and being nice, but we're trained that we're supposed to say absolutely instead of you're welcome, or I mean, we're supposed to tell the guests that basically it was no effort at all. And actually, that's not hospitality. Hospitality is to let your guests know that you are doing something for them. So if I said, can I get an extra lemon? And somebody came back and put it on my table, and I said, thank you. And they said, oh, you're welcome. Or absolutely. Like, I cut lemons and bring them to tables all day long, whether you're here or not. That's still not the truth. The truth is that I cut it for you. I brought it for you, and you are welcome. But when I say you're welcome, it kind of dismisses what I just did for you. Okay, so maybe I was in the kitchen cutting a lemon. Maybe the chef is pissed off and he's like, what are you doing in here? You're taking up too much room. Maybe I had to go a long distance. Maybe somebody in another station asked me for something and I had to jump through hoops. By the time I got the lemon to you, when I put it on the table, you know, when you say thank you, I basically want you to know that I've gone through a lot to get this lemon to you, and that what I'm doing is effort for you. And so when you say thank you to me, I'm going to say thank you. So if customers start hearing enough thank yous back, they're going to start to realize that they're actually, you know, asking you for things and you're bringing them. When you say, oh, you're welcome, like it's nothing. It isn't nothing. It's huge, no matter what it is. You know, you wouldn't be doing it if they weren't here, you know? So anytime anybody ever says thank you, just say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a paying customer and letting me bring a lemon, because now I know that I'm going to get a tip from this table, from this effort that I'm making. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. You know, so when you say thank you back, it's with great appreciation that they're even there, okay? Because you have done something, you have cut a lemon, you have walked a mile, so don't dismiss it, just say thank you. So, and I started doing that everywhere I go now. So anytime I'm out and somebody says thank you, I say thank you. And just to keep in practice, because it's not the norm. You know, we are taught to say, oh, absolutely, absolutely, no problem. Oh, absolutely, I love cutting lemons. It's so not the truth. I don't. So say thank you back. It does rack up. They start to go, wow, you know, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because that's like, you know, you're going to, I'm sure you're going to tip me for all these things that I'm doing for you. Thank you. Yeah, no extra bread. Thank you. So practice that, because I know it's not the norm. So, all right, going on to the next box, it's called Meet the Neighbors. An opportunity for business owners around to refer guests to sit in your station. Now, that's huge, because when you know that you have businesses all around you, and you know that people are in there all the time asking for, you know, coffee, books, wine, whatever, they might say, hey, do you know a place around here that has great salad or whatever? The important thing is that everybody knows where you work. And you want to make sure in a way that makes them want to hear where you work. So here's my little tip. It wouldn't hurt to say thank you whenever they sold you that coffee or that book or whatever. But if you say in a way that makes them want to hear where you work, that you work and that nearby, and that you are happy to give any of their customers really special service, that's going to pique the interest in anybody who you're talking to. So I don't know how many stores are right around you, but I'm guessing that in a restaurant you have some stores around you. If you walked in to, say, the same place that you always buy your coffee, or maybe you went out of your way to buy coffee now at the nearest store or deli, and when they sold it to you, you said, you know, you guys are always so nice. It doesn't matter if this is your first time you've ever been in. They don't work there every day, so they don't know that this is your first time. You guys are always so nice to me, and your coffee is always so amazing. I want to do something for you. I don't know if you know where I work. And then you have a business card, or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't have a business card for the restaurant where you work. That's okay too, because you want to go back in anyway and make sure that they hear you. And sometimes when you go back the next day and say, oh, I was here yesterday and I told you that I was going to do something for you, but I forgot to leave my business card. That's okay. So wherever you are, you can tell people where you work. So you want to say something like this: you guys are so nice to me, or your coffee is so amazing and it gets me through a really hard day. We are so crazy busy over there all the time. Without your coffee, I would be nothing. And I want to do something for you. I'm LeeAnne, and you know, if you ever want to send, you know, even if you want to come in, if you want to come in, I will totally hook you up. I can definitely do that before we get busy. So anytime like around 5 or so, between 5 and 6, I can totally hook you up. Now, you haven't said anything to them. You haven't said, I'm going to get you free things. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not saying I'm going to buy you dinner. I'm just saying I would like to do something for you. And so when you don't have that business card and you go back the next day and you with the business card and you say, oh, you know, I forgot to give the business card to you, you want to write on your business card LeeAnne or Rachel and the best times for people to come in and dine. And when you write that and you hand that over to them and you say, anytime that you have guests that you want to send my way, I will totally make sure that they have a great experience too. So if you say that to, say, 10 store owners in the course of the next 2 weeks, right? 5 minutes before you get to work, you stop in here, there, the other place, and you just make sure that everybody knows that if they themselves go to LeeAnne's station or Rachel's station or Scott's station, or they send somebody, and you know that they're going to be treated right. Now, the next time somebody asks for a place to dine, there are probably 30 places in your town that they could send them, but they don't know one person in that restaurant. They know you now, and you've already said that you're going to hook up their guests, right? So they're going to send their guests to you no matter what. Now you should go one step further and start to pull that business card back and say, by the way, oh, I did put the time down, but by the way, make sure that they mention your name. Not Rachel, not Scott, not LeeAnne, but your name, the store owner. Everyone likes to throw their name around, right? So when the store owner gets to say, oh, and you should have a salad here, and make sure that you mention my name, Dave or Bob. In their head, they're thinking, what you're doing is you're creating a friend of a friend situation anyway, but they're doing something now for their customer. They're not just selling them the coffee. When their customer says, do you know a place around here to eat? They're like, yes. And not only that, if you mention my name, you're going to get treated so right. Just make sure you ask for Rachel's station or Scott's station, and you are so golden. Now, you may not be able to offer anything because it says right there on the card that they have to dine before 6 o'clock, right? But he'll say that. He'll become your marketing arm for you, for your station. You don't understand how powerful it is that you work in a restaurant. You have no overhead. You have people that cook the product for you, prepare it. You have no rent to pay, no inventory, and you can start creating a business outside of the food and beverages that you sell. And one of the ways that you want to start doing that is by marketing yourself, marketing your station. Your station should be the only place that anyone ever thinks of to eat. And the only way that this can happen is when you start telling people who's running that business, which is you. You are now a small business owner inside of that restaurant, right? So right away, we've got you grabbing the door for people who are just passing by or just walking in with too much on their plate, while your coworkers are standing against the wall because they've been trained. We've all been trained that in hospitality, you stand in your station with your hands behind your back. And is that hospitality? I mean, really, if I walked into your house, would you be standing in your kitchen with your hand behind your back? No, you'd be like, oh, come in, let me take your coat. If you thought more of like, this is my business inside of somebody else's business, that I'm not okay with just making 20% of what I sell. I want more. And I don't know about you, but I want 100% more when I'm working. If I can't be on my couch, I want 100% of what I could be making. And that means the neighbors should be talking about my station. The internet should be talking about my station. The open tables should be automatically depositing people in my station. It should be on autopilot. And it's not effortless, absolutely not. I'm not saying that this is the easiest thing ever, but if you put 2 weeks in just buying coffee and making sure that people have your business card, your name, the times that are best to drop in, and you start taking pictures of your customers, we'll talk about this later, but if you put more and more people on autopilot, in 2 weeks your job will be easier. It will become so easy, it's going to be stupid, and I'll explain why. Okay, it's going to be more profitable and easier. So keep that in mind. I know it's a lot, but well, let me just go on to the next box. All right. So we've covered meet the neighbors. Now you've got also incomplete parties, an opportunity to get, record, and use a guest's name. Okay, I forgot to bring my composition book from work, but you know what a composition book is. It's the school books that we all had. It's black and white, and I love those because the pages don't fall out. And they look unassuming, and you can keep a lot of information in there, and no one really needs to know what it is. But when you have an incomplete party come in, so say Mr. Johnson, I don't know if I said Mr. Jones or Mr. Johnson when I first started this, but I'm going to say Mr. Johnson. You helped him with the door or his rainy coat or his bags, and introduced him to Ashley. Try to hang on to that name. A lot of people say, oh, I'm so bad at names. If you only have one guest so far, it's like 5:30 in the afternoon and there's no one else in the restaurant, say to yourself, this is my business, I'm going to remember his name. And then when you seat him, do yourself a favor and go over and jot in your composition book, Mr. Johnson, and the date. Put the date at the top, and maybe a little description of what he looks like. Be politically correct, but I usually put height and hair color and the date, the weather conditions, and maybe any holiday or whatever, and then the table that he sat in, so that it's there. If I totally get crazy busy, or I'm a space cadet anyway, and he comes back and I don't remember his name, that's kind of worse than not even getting his name in the first place or not using his name in the first place. So write it down so that you do have it. And then when you're walking back past him as he's waiting for his other guest, now he's an incomplete party, he's waiting for another, right? So you want to say, Mr. Johnson, I know you're waiting for another guest. What is your guest's name? So I make sure that you guys connect. Now he may just fluff it off by saying, oh, don't worry, I'll see him, or I'll see her. But you've extended some other courtesy now that none of your other coworkers are doing. This is what hospitality is. This is you're not doing anything extra. What you're actually doing is getting information, right? You've now used his name in a sentence. Now there's no retracting. He can't say, I'm not comfortable being called by name. Like I don't know, some people are like in the witness protection program or whatever. But when you walk by and you say, oh, Mr. Johnson, what is your guest's name? So I make sure you connect, or so I make sure I tell Ashley. He thinks that that's a courtesy. He thinks, wow, this is the place to be, or Rachel Station is the place to be, where you get supreme service. It's not just, can I take your bottled water or flat water? You've already upped the game to another level. Now, of course, your coworkers are going to think you're nuts. Who cares, right? So you're going to ask Mr. Johnson his guest's name, right? So that you know, and when Ashley is at the front door, and you might just even say to Ashley, oh, Mr. Johnson is waiting for Lisa. Just in case you're not at the front door, you can't watch, or you get busy. And then when somebody comes in or starts walking towards, the restaurant, you can say, oh, Lisa, are you Lisa? And when she goes, yes, wow, thank you, this is service, right this way. You bring her right over, you pull out her chair. I mean, none of your coworkers are doing this, but now you have two vital pieces of information. You have Mr. Johnson's name and you have his guest's name. So that goes in my book too. I usually put in both pieces of information, but when you have an incomplete party, oh my God, it is so awesome, because now you have every license to use his name for the rest of his dining experience. When you're walking by and you're really busy and you're saying, Mr. Johnson, how's that steak? It's amazing tonight, right? I have no idea what they're putting in the sauce. And you walk away. Who cares? What you're saying to everyone else in the restaurant is that Mr. Johnson is a VIP. Okay? Mr. Johnson knows that too. Even if this is his first time, the only difference that you've made between you and your coworkers is you were by the front door and you helped him come in. That was the only reason why you got his name. They have no license. Your coworkers have no license to walk up to a party and say, hi, what's your name? No one would even do that. But you've opened the gateway just by using one of these bottom boxes. You've already opened the gateway to creating a relationship with a customer who is now wanting to come back. He doesn't even know it yet, but he knows that he is known in this one restaurant, in this one station. That's a pretty powerful place to be, Rachel. I mean, that's nice, right? All right, so this is just the bottom boxes, and you want to use any one of these. Grab it, get your name into it. When he says, oh, the steak is awesome. What is your name? Rachel. Anybody in this station knows that it's Rachel, where you can get anything. Don't ever answer yes or no, or Rachel, or LeeAnne, or Scott. Always go one step further so that they remember who they're talking to, and they want to come back. All right, so let's see, let me check time. Oh my gosh, that's fast. All right, questions. Anytime you see somebody dressed up or anything out of the ordinary, maybe they've been in before and they've never dined in your section, you want to make sure, I've seen you in here before. Do you work in the neighborhood? And make sure that you start engaging them. Getting those conversations going are going to be the tools that open up that gateway to become a regular customer and start getting up to your VIP point up here, not where they feel special in their own mind, but special because they're in Rachel's section. So, let's see. Yeah, when you ask questions, like if somebody's particularly dressed up, I love this because I go, oh my gosh, this looks like such a special occasion. Tell me what's going on. And usually when people are dressed up and dining out, it's because they're celebrating something. So you want to go one step further and just don't bring food and then a bill and expect them to ever come back. You want to make sure they come back and come back only to your station. So when you see people dressed up or with gifts or cards or flowers or whatever, you want to make sure that you stay aware of those kinds of things. And so you walk over and you're like, oh my gosh, you guys look so dressed up and fancy. What are you celebrating? And they are usually so happy to tell you, oh, it's my anniversary, oh, it's my birthday or whatever. And they haven't asked you for anything. But if you take that information and, bop into the kitchen and let them know that you might be having a birthday plate put together in about 45 minutes, you want to make sure that you get the person who's celebrating, you want to make sure that you find out their name. So if they go to the bathroom or whatever, I'm very, very straightforward and very gregarious. I don't know how outgoing everybody else is, but when I find out it's a celebration, I go, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. What's your name? It's so fast that they don't even know that it's a weird thing for a server or a hostess or a manager to be asking, right? You're celebrating with them. It's all in the delivery. And they're like, oh, I'm Megan. And, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. I'm going to make it super special. You haven't said anything, but what's coming down the pike is, it's going to be Megan on a plate. I don't know what you do at your restaurant, but you always have like a chocolate sauce or something that you can drizzle on a plate that says happy birthday, Megan. And this is going to be important, even if you put like a cookie in the middle, because they haven't asked you for anything and you may not have license to give dessert for free, but you want to do something where you stick a candle in. You may even want to stick it in their appetizer or stick it in their burger. Just something out of the ordinary, and write something, even in ketchup. If they're ordering a burger, write happy birthday Megan in ketchup. I mean, that's hospitality, right? It's not, absolutely, I love cutting lemons. It's doing something that takes absolutely no effort for you at all, no cost to anybody, and it makes them feel special. But not only that, they're going to take a picture of that, right? And when they take a picture of anything with their name on it, because they want to use Instagram or they want to use Facebook or they want to use Twitter or whatever, you want to make sure that you've got your name in it. Okay, so every time they've ever asked you for anything, of course you can have it. You're in LeeAnne's section. They should walk out knowing my name so solidly and your name so solidly. And it may seem like a lot if you're saying it 4 or 5 times, but trust me, people are not clued into servers and their names. They just think that food comes and they pay and then they leave. You have to change it up and make it more extraordinary. And even if you say your name more than 3 times, trust me, you'll find customers who are like, what was your name? And that's a clue to the fact that people just are dumbed down to servers, service, restaurants in general. So you're going to take it up a notch and say your name a couple of times. Make sure you get it in it. Get in every sentence that they ask for something. You're in Rachel's station, of course. I can't believe you don't have it already. My magic may be a little off. I'll have to actually walk and get it this time. Just something that sticks in their brain where they're like, oh God, Rachel's section is awesome. And that's all they ever have to remember. They don't have to know what the name of the restaurant is, right? All they have to remember is Rachel's section. So when they take a picture, you should take this opportunity to say, oh my gosh, can I take a picture of you guys? And that's key, because when you have their camera, you have a lot of power. You take that camera from them and you say something like, all right, my favorite is, I do this conditionally. And okay, let me also throw in here, this is all stuff that you're doing when you do have time. None of this you should be doing when you're busy, right? You want to make your life easier, not harder. So this is your early parties, the people that you helped walk in. If they're dressed up, you help them with their coat. Wow, you look really fancy tonight. Are we celebrating something? You're saying that to the first couple of customers that come in, not during the weeds, not during busy, okay? Who has time to make their life harder? So when you see them taking a picture, or even if they don't even have their camera out yet, say, oh my gosh, you should have a picture of this. That's when they're like, oh God, yeah. And when you see them taking their camera out, that's when you go, oh, do you want me to take a picture of you two? This is maybe the first time that they're having anything together. They're dining together. They're having lunch together. Maybe it's a reunion and for 10 years. Of course they want a picture together. So you're going to grab their camera and then you're going to say, I do this conditionally though. The first way is your way, and they're going to do the same thing that everybody does. They hold up their drink or smile at the camera, and it's boring. Okay, all right, now the first way was your way, but the second way is my way. And if it comes out good, I want you to post it on Facebook. And just ideas. You're dropping little droplets of ideas that aren't the norm for anybody dining. They thought they were just coming in for a burger. You noticed that they were dressed up. Now they have a plate in front of them that says happy birthday Megan with a candle in the burger. And now they're planning, even though they don't know it yet, they're planning on posting this on Facebook and saying you have to dine in Rachel's section. Right? I don't know how many friends you have online, but I have a ton of friends. And if you stuck a candle in 5 different burgers a night and said, oh my gosh, let me take a picture, right? You're actually directing this whole film and you don't know it. You're directing how they're going to react. You're directing them to post on Facebook. I don't know if you know how many friends they have, but if you stick a candle in something 5 times a night and they each have 600 friends, that's a lot of marketing that's specifically for your station. You just stuck a candle that you didn't pay for into a burger that you didn't prepare, and you brought it out and you just went viral, possibly to 30,000 people. That's a nice place to be, because if 1/10 of those people say, let me dine, oh, you know what? Let's go to Rachel's. I don't know what the name of the restaurant is. Let me look that up. And you are going to be the most sought after waiter in your town. You are going to be busy from the time that you open, but not busy crazy. You're going to be busy nice, a nice smooth busy from the beginning to the end. From the minute that they open the doors, you are going to start making money. Whether you're checking somebody's coat or carrying something or getting somebody's name, you start making money, and you're starting to make a regular customer out of every one of those people. If you're just standing in your station with your hands behind your back, you should expect exactly what everyone else gets, which is 20%. And the only way to make more money is to sell more stuff. I don't know about you, but there are only so many burgers I can eat, right? So this is now a business outside of your restaurant job business or your waiter job business. This is a full new business of just services. You're taking pictures, you're making memories for somebody, you're carrying something over or checking their coat for somebody. These are not bring food and bring beverages and bring a check kind of services. This is a whole nother business. So let's start promoting your business inside of this business that someone else is paying for. Someone else is paying for their the employees that you have, the candles, the burgers, the plates. You're in an awesome situation right now. All right, so the next one is Hollywood hookup, and I do this all the time, and it may not be exactly the way that it's written, but when somebody says, oh, I don't know what to do later on tonight, you don't? Oh my gosh, there's a great rock concert, there's a poetry reading, right down the street is a great park. The park isn't going to get you any points though, but if you can organize something for your guests in another place, say like the piano bar or a poetry reading, you can say, and I can make sure that you get VIP access, or you get VIP seats, or you get in and nobody else will. That's been sold out forever. I don't know what you want to say, but you want to call up and say, hey, it's Rachel from the Greek, oh gosh, I forgot the name of the restaurant, Big Daddy's. It's Rachel from Big Daddy's, or Scott from Brick House, and I have some VIP guests that I want to send down to you. And all of a sudden, you've got their attention. Wait, you're going to send me more money? You're going to send me more customers, more clients? I want to know who you are. And I've done this a couple of times a night with my guests, when I say, you know, what are you doing afterwards? Or do you know that there's a sample sale next door, or whatever? Making that call for them is really impactful, and it ends up meaning more money to me. Let's see, introductions. That's huge. When you have a guest that is celebrating something and it's monumental, or a birthday or an anniversary or whatever, you want to make sure that as your boss is walking by, you want to say, oh my gosh, did you meet the owner? I don't know what your boss's name is, but Bob, you have to meet Megan. It's her birthday. She came all the way here from Indianapolis, wherever, because you're going to become more familiar and get information and write down in your book more information about each guest, so that you're going to remember things that are important. And when you're introducing people like the owner, it makes your customers feel like celebrities. Now they can walk in anytime and they know the owner. Who doesn't want to know the owner or the manager, right? If you have a chef that loves the limelight, this is an amazing opportunity. I don't care if you work in a diner. Sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This was the nicest event or the nicest dinner ever. You want to throw the chef into a different coat so that he's clean, and you want to bring him out and say, I just wanted you to meet the chef that made all of this happen for you. They know that it wasn't the chef, it was you. And they also know that the next time they come and dine, that you might bring the chef out. So they're going to start bringing in their colleagues, the people that they're trying to impress. When a customer is sitting in the dining room and the chef is standing next to their table talking like they know them, it's a big deal. They feel like celebrities. They feel better. They want to tip more. They want to come back more often. They want to make sure that you are always the person that takes care of them, because everybody else is going to be like, hi, can I take your order? They don't even know that these people are in your station. That's how oblivious people are to the possibilities all around them, which is really exciting for you, because that's not you anymore. Okay, so know your history is really important. Did I skip? Yeah. The hostess is your new best friend. That's really important to me, because what I did with my staff one day is, when I found out it was a birthday, I basically snuck my video camera out, and it wasn't my cell phone, it was my video camera. I have a flip phone, or a flip video, and when I found out that it was a birthday party for one of my guests, I quickly, because they had mentioned it on the phone, or because the hostess had mentioned it, I did a real quick video of the person waiting for the birthday person, right? So it was kind of weird for them. I'm walking over, I'm like, I'm talking, I'm saying in the camera, this is Bob, he's waiting for Lisa. Lisa, this is Bob, before you arrive, he's created a really cool birthday event for you here at wherever I was. And then when I turned the camera back at Bob, he was like, hey Lisa, we're gonna have a really special birthday for you. And then I cut, and I was like, hey, I'm LeeAnne, by the way, I'm putting together a real quick video for you so that you have something special to give to Lisa afterwards. Holy crap, he was so happy. But what I did after that, because I knew now that it would work, what I did after that was I said that my server had requested that I do this. Now, I'm a host somewhere in the city, so when I said that your waiter has requested that I do this video, now when I found out later on, after I put the whole video together, the waiter that I did this with said that he had a 30% tip, and where I work let's just say it's expensive. So I was so happy that not only did it worked for a really, really high-end clientele. I was just talking to myself with my video, walking over. I gave him some airtime, went back to me. Bye, Lisa. We'll see you. I'm going to get you when you're here, or whatever. And then he knew I was videotaping. So now when I went into the kitchen, I put together my little special birthday plate. Now the waiter had no idea I was doing all this because I was just testing all of these things out. So he had no idea. So when I brought the plate back, I said again, Dave requested that I put this together for you. Oh my God, the guy is like out of his mind. I'm making this guy, this Bob, looks so amazing in front of Lisa. She thinks that he's gone to such extremes. And then as she goes to the bathroom, that was so not eloquently put, she used the powder room when he was alone. I snuck back over to him and I said, let me get your cell phone number or your email so that I can send you the link to the video, and then you can give that to her. That's what Dave had asked me to do. So all of these things led up to him leaving more money, but because I told him that the server asked for that to happen. Now, as a server, you want to walk over to your hostess and let her know that you have these services available. Say, just so you know, I just started doing this real quick video, and I send them a link after the dinner. So, and I put together a birthday plate with a candle, and I videotape that and how it's being put together, and then the surprise, and then the wrap up, the afterwards. And just so you know, anybody who calls up and says, I'm celebrating a birthday, let them know that I can videotape it if it's early. I mean, I can't do it if we're in the weeds, but if it's really not busy, then I can definitely do it. I'll try it even if we're busy, but I can definitely do it. The best way to get her attention, though, is when you give her $5 and say, I forgot to give this to you last week, but you mentioned that there was a birthday, and I started doing this new thing where I take my video camera and I just put together a real quick 1 minute, 2 minute video for the guest, and I send it to them afterwards, and they left me like an extra $10, so I want to share it with you. Oh my gosh, that hostess is going to be telling everybody about your station and your service. Not only that, she might even start asking on the phone, are you celebrating anything? Because I have this server who, if she's not busy or if he's not busy, will videotape real quick the whole birthday surprise and actually put together a birthday plate for you. Oh my gosh, that's information that's going to get out there. Trust me. And you want to keep all of these things under wraps. So don't tell your coworkers. Don't tell your coworkers about HTBT. This is what I'm calling it. Hospitality tips for better tips. But don't tell anybody about it. Just keep it to yourself. You want to tell your manager about it. You want to sit down with him privately and say, look, I just learned about this hospitality thing, and it's, just bringing extra hospitality, extra guest services to provide superior guest services, and I just want to check with you if some of these things are okay. Like if I introduce you to guests, or if I bring the chef out, or if I take out my my video camera. The one thing that I will caution you with videos, you don't want to ever reference the restaurant. It's your video. It's a homemade LeeAnne video. Okay, so when you go home and you do the editing, and editing is free in every computer now. When you download that video and you upload, you want to make sure you put in, happy birthday Margaret from LeeAnne and Dave, and you want your name in there, because when they post it, it's going to say whose station to sit in. And when they start calling and they're saying, I'm coming in, but is LeeAnne or Dave available? And the host is going to be like, LeeAnne isn't a server, so you must mean Dave. You can even put in your video from LeeAnne the hostess and Dave the server. So you're going to say in your video, happy birthday Margaret from Scott, or from Rachel, your server, or your server extraordinaire, and then close. At the end of the video, you want to put in, thank you so much for having your birthday, we're celebrating with me, love Dave, or thank you from Dave. And then when you send that and they upload it, you have made no reference to the restaurant. So this is an age where you have to be careful with those kind of things. And now if the Yeah, if the customer does it, then it's gonna totally not even be seen by your restaurant. Okay, so some things you want to be careful with, some things you want to check with your manager with, but if it's not referencing the restaurant, and because the restaurant may want only a really high-end professional image out there, and would prefer to have no image or no photos than have some hack homemade video. So you never want to put your restaurant's stamp of approval on something that you're not sure of yet. So I'm going to move on. I know I'm running late. If you have to go, you have to go. I'll record this too, so you can always check back. That was the hostess. You want to make sure that she's your best friend, and the way to do that is to hit her with some money first and then start talking. This is what happened last week. I totally forgot, or I haven't seen you since, but this is so much fun, but I can only do it when I'm not busy. You have to let customers know that. If once we get into 7-8 o'clock, I can't. So she, knowing that there's money possibly in it for her, she's gonna she's gonna be trying to push people earlier. Well, I could do it at 7 o'clock, but if you can come around 6:30, there's a server here who puts together a videotape. And of course, that you can't surprise your guest of honor, because once you take your camera out, they're going to know that that the dessert is coming, or that there's a surprise. So my server here does all of that for you and sends you this great link. So you want to make sure that your hostess is working for you. Even when you're home in bed, you want to make sure that your hostess is talking about you and how great it is to dine in your station. Right? The next one is Man About Town, which is just reading up on all the things that are going on in your town, in your neighborhood. So when people are coming in, and you part of your job should now be, as this new business owner, you own that station and it's free. You should be doing a lot of eavesdropping. So when I say all night long, I'm sorry, I couldn't help overhearing you. You're not in love with this table, or you're cold, or I couldn't help hearing. You have nothing. You don't know what you're doing afterwards. I know of a great blah blah blah, and you want to have a lot of information about everything, but you also want to make sure that you're reading all of the body language in your restaurant. I can't tell you how many times I've made extra money just by seeing that somebody didn't love the table, and knowing that I had a better table, or something that I thought was not better, but offering them another option made them feel like they weren't trapped in that table, and they ended up slipping me stupid, ridiculous extra money. So if you keep your eyes peeled in your new business for, if they were coming into your house and they're like, ooh, I'm cold or whatever, you wouldn't be like, deal. You'd be like, oh, let me make you warmer. It's just, this is your new business. It has nothing to do with food and beverages that you sell. So just it's a new way to look. You already have the neighborhood sending you people. You might as well treat them with kid gloves, so that you're gonna, because it takes no extra effort at all, and there's always the possibility that they're going to thank you. And when they say thank you, you go, thank you. And when they say, oh, this means a lot to me, hey, you're in Rachel's station, you're in Scott's station, of course. Anything, everything that you do is an opportunity to say thank you, to get your name in it, to make extra money, to change this into a regular, average, anonymous person, and bring it up to that person that's going to be coming in every single Wednesday, every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then soon, anytime that they can. That's what you want. No-brainer station. You're never waiting for anything. They're just... Can you imagine if you walked into your station every day and you're like, hey, Joe, hey, Mike, Debbie, same salad? Joe, do you want that Cabernet? Because I'm standing right here at the computer. I just saved myself 1, 2, 3 trips. Okay? It gets easier. Trust me, this may seem like a lot to take in, but it makes your life easier. Knowing somebody's name makes them feel like a VIP, but you're actually doing less work. Right? So stick with me. know your history. That's kind of, I mean, I love knowing what's going on in the building, how long the building has been there, what's going on in the neighborhood, how long the neighborhood has been there. Did George Washington sleep there? In one restaurant that I used to work in, Canestell's on Park Avenue South, it was the scene of the biggest mob hit ever. And whenever I sat somebody, I think I was managing then, but whenever I sat somebody in a table and they were like, no, you know what? If I needed somebody to sit in a station that wasn't the most popular, I would, as I'm seating them, they're like, oh, can't we sit by the window? You don't know this place, do you? What? What are you talking about? This is the scene of the biggest mob hit ever. Nobody wants to sit by the window. And oh my God, they want to know every single detail. What are you talking about? And then they sit down. They're like, oh my gosh, really? I tell them about the owner. I tell them about all the dark history of it. It's very exciting for them. So read up on your history, whether it's of the building or the owner himself or your neighborhood. Know something cool that nobody else does. And all it takes is, doing a little Google research. Like, why is the menu the way that it is? Why are these things? What part of Greece? What part of Italy? Get some backstory on the owner, and it makes it more exciting, and it engages people more so that they remember everything that happened when they were in LeeAnne Station or Scott Station or Rachel Station. Manage introductions. Manager introductions. I think, if your manager knows somebody and he sits them, this is one of the things that you want to ask your manager when you're aside privately. If you can ask your manager, can you do me a favor and just introduce me whenever you have guests come in, or if you know the guest by name, because it would make it a better guest experience for the customer. Instead of how do I say this? Okay, your manager sits somebody, he's obviously friends with them, and he says, oh, this is LeeAnne, your server tonight is LeeAnne. If he can go one step further and say, oh, LeeAnne, have you ever dined with LeeAnne before? LeeAnne, this is John, this is my friend from college or whatever. This is great because he knows that he can't sit anybody else, he can't sit these people with anybody else because they don't care who they are. They're like, yeah, okay, your friend from college, whatever. You've asked to know their names so that it's a more personal experience for the guest. But what's bigger than that is that these are now people that you can call by name, and it's easier to wait on them. But if you already know that your manager is going to be standing there, it's going to be easy because if you ever need something, your manager is standing at your table because he's talking to his friends. But now you're not just a server because you've been introduced. You're the co-host for the evening because your manager is actually the host or the maitre d' for their dining experience. Well, now that he's introduced you, you're the co-host. You're not just somebody who fetches things. You're the co-host. And now you can say, John, are you all done with that wine? Even while your manager's talking. But if you don't know somebody's name, you have to stand there. And if you haven't been properly introduced, you're an employee. But now, with that introduction, it changes who you are in the mind of the customer and in your manager's mind too. So he only wants to sit people that he knows with you, and you want to make sure that you keep remembering those names and putting those in the book. It's all in the name. Knowing customers' names, that goes back to square one. It makes it huge. It saves time. I already pointed that out, that it saves time for you when you can communicate from across the room. And I don't know if you catch this in the camera, but if I look at somebody and I go, do you want another? Do you know how much time that's going to save? But you can't do that to somebody that you don't know. If somebody's just coming in for the first time, that would be so rude. But now, you can go, are you okay? And not one owner or manager is ever going to look at you and say, you're you're not giving good customer service. You're actually over servicing. You've got your eye on everybody, and you're like, you can communicate in so many different ways from across the room, and you can start building on that and having so much fun. But you can't do it if these people are strangers. So start making your life easier by getting those names and remembering them, and not just, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, how's that steak? Isn't it amazing today? I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They're like, they're cows from the heavens. Just joke around so that it gets familiar. And, when they say, oh, miss, call me Rachel, make sure that you get that kind of thing out there. But once they become needy or over the top, or they feel like they can snap their fingers, you make sure that you go over and you tell the hostess to take that name back out of that reservation, that they're not a request of yours, so that they go back into the pool where everybody else, every other worker, every other coworker can get a crack at them, right? So you want to try to build these relationships, and trust me, when they're coming in as referrals from the neighboring stores, they don't know your relationship with the neighboring stores. When you go out and you get a cup of coffee or a book, and you say, oh my gosh, you guys are so nice to me all the time, I want to do something for you, and they send people in, when the people come in, they don't know your relationship with that store owner, and they have to go back and shop there, or they have to pass by there. They're not going to ruin anything that they might a friend of a friend is a lot different than some stranger walking in and having a stranger serve them. So you've already stacked the deck in your favor by this person being a friend of a friend. So you have businesses referring friends of friends who are definitely not going to be snapping their fingers since they don't know your relationship. So if you get one bad egg who you've grabbed his things, you've said his name, if he's not the kind of person that's going to be 110% where you want to see him every week, then make sure he goes back into the regular pool where everybody else can have him too. You don't have to, you want to make sure that your station, you're doing the most work for the people who really appreciate it. That doesn't mean you're not going to do your job. It's quite the opposite. You go back to just doing your job, just being a server. You're now not looking at him as a small business owner of all of these guest services that he can have. Once he starts snapping his fingers, that's when he doesn't get to shop in your store anymore. So keep that in mind. You're never stuck with a bad behaving customer. You can always put him back in the pool and say, no, he's not a request of mine. So once you've got that video, or once you've got that camera, the picture of the burger or the dessert plate, you want to make sure that you drop that hint, and you want to make sure that that picture is out of the ordinary. So you always say, I do this conditionally. The first way is your way. You can do whatever you'd like. And so you take the picture, and then you go, okay, now it's my way. Now the way that I always do it is I say, now it's your rock star cover photo, and you have to point at the camera and be angry rock stars. So I point at them first. I don't know if you can see this. I point at them, and then I'm holding the camera while I'm pointing at them, and I'm like, angrier, angrier. This is so much fun for grandparents or anybody older or whatever, because they all have seen rock star cover photos. They grew up in the 60s, 70s, and everyone's a little rock star anyway. So it gets the fun going, and when they see the picture that you just took of like all of them pointing at the camera like or sticking their tongue out or whatever, they love that photo because it's different. No one else has ever directed a photo, right? So you're a complete stranger to them. You created the best photo that they have. It's so out of the ordinary. Make sure when you hand that camera back to them to say, I want to see this on Facebook, and leave it at that. Because the only way that they can do that is by, uploading it or asking your name or whatever. But it's just one more opportunity for you to get your name into that scenario, for them to make your station viral to how many thousands of friends. I mean, if you're doing this 5 times a night, I can't even tell you how much publicity and marketing that is for your station. You could get to the point where there is somebody in your chair, in each of your chairs at every single moment. And that's a nice shift to be in when you're standing at the computer going, another one? Mike, what's going on? She's beautiful. Oh my gosh. You know, like just whatever comes to mind, just get these blocks started down here by grabbing things at the door, introducing to your hostess, incomplete parties. Can I get your guest's name? Even if you don't know this person's name, if you haven't introduced them to the hostess or you haven't grabbed them at the front door and you see somebody sitting in your station by themselves, he's still an incomplete party. So you drop the menu and you say, oh, I assume are you waiting for a guest? Yes. Oh, can I get their name just so I make sure you connect? Oh, yeah, it's Jim. So when Jim comes in, now the rest of the night, you know, you can walk by and say, hey, Jim, how's that steak? You know, like it becomes effortless, but make sure you put that name into that composition book so that you have that name forever. Right? Those pages don't fall out. I'm sorry I'm running so late. If you have to go, I totally understand. It's on record, so you can check back. It'll be here. I'm getting to the top now. Special orders don't upset us. No, as a matter of fact, it's the opposite. It's an opportunity to let people know that if they dine earlier, I can't do that for you now. The chef is like ballistic, or you know, we're so crazy. They already said no special orders, or we're out of that today. But you know, we could definitely do that anytime at 5 o'clock. We are just, you know, we can't do it now, or whatever. You have that angle, but also the special orders that now you're getting to the top where somebody's now coming back in and coming in. You want to make sure you drop information for Mr. Johnson. Maybe Mr. Johnson has come back and he's asked for Rachel's section or Scott's station because you're the only people that know him in that whole restaurant. He's always going to request you. Now he's come in and you're like, thanks so much for coming back. And you know, what can we do? Are you going to do the same steak? Keep notes about what people are doing. Can I bring you your doors on the rocks? Oh my gosh, this means so much to people when you remember what their preferences are. But during his dining experience, and he says something like, you know, oh, I don't know if I feel like steak tonight. If you let them know that anything special is available to them, because they're now VIPs, you've been back 3 times. Mr. Johnson, you can have whatever you want. You know, in fact, if you want, the next time you come in, if it's special, I can make sure that the table is already set for you. We already have champagne, flowers, you know, appetizers on the table. He's going to be like, what? Wow. If I ever have an event or have an anniversary or have to dine with a colleague that I don't want him to look at the menu and waste time, I'm going to dine with LeeAnne or Scott or Rachel. You've just given him ideas he never even thought possible. You've just become the closest thing to like a personal assistant for him just by giving him ideas. So when he asks for a special request, like, I don't know, you just want to make sure that you're always open to looking for special requests to accommodate. I don't know, like if somebody's stumbling on the menu, oh, I don't know what I want. Well, you know what? You've been here like 4 times and you're in LeeAnne's station. Let me do this for you. Just tell me steak or seafood and I'll take care of everything else. Or I'll go ask the chef if we can just do like a platter, like a family platter, and that way you can taste everything. Nobody is saying this to anybody. Nobody. And you're giving them options. These options, these are the ones that you want to check with your manager. You know, how much leeway can I have? These options are amazing because they say to people that this is the only section I ever want to dine in. This is the only restaurant I ever want to dine in. And it's setting you up for the final part, which is your VIP, which once you say to somebody that you can do pretty much anything for them to make it special, you know what? I don't give this to anybody, but you're such a a valued customer to me, and I can give you my Google Voice text number so that if you ever need anything, like even last minute, if you forgot to make a reservation or you need table 7 or you need flowers on the table, I can run down to the florist and pick up flowers. I'll have to put it on a, I'll have to show you the receipt, or I wouldn't even show them the receipt. I would just say, it'll cost you, but I can definitely go get cards, flowers, candy. I've had cigarettes delivered for my regular customers. If they said, "Oh, do you know where I can get cigarettes delivered?" Or do you know where I can go to get cigarettes? I'm like, "Yeah, but you could also stay here and I can have it delivered for you." And they're like, "Really?" Because almost every deli here in the city will deliver, right? So if cigarettes cost, I don't know what they cost now, but I just tacked on $5 for myself. So I didn't have to tip out anybody, but I made a phone call. It was like a Hollywood hookup. I said, "What do you need? What do you want?" You're in LeeAnne's section. I made the phone call. The delivery came 5 minutes later. And I said, "It's, $20 or whatever." She was just so, I told her ahead of time that it was going to be basically whatever, more. I said the guy charges more to deliver, but it all worked out in the end. She didn't have to go, and she really appreciated that service. That's hospitality. It's not screaming absolutely every time somebody asks for something. It's looking for things out of the ordinary and offering your service, because you're now a small business owner inside of a waiter job with no inventory, no employees to pay, and food that is prepared by somebody else. That's a good place to be. So now you want to get up to your top tier, where once you've seen somebody come in enough times and you really like them and you know they take care of you financially and they're good people, they don't snap their fingers and demand. Once you get them to that VIP spot, you want to let them know that you have a Google Voice text number and that they can contact you for anything special that you can provide. You can make sure that the champagne is already on the table, that you can do this, you can do that. You can think of things that I haven't even thought of, but that they have that text number is so important to them. And you can run it any way you want. You can say, "Oh, I can't look at my phone while you're here." That's ridiculous. This is a text number just in case you need something special that isn't on the menu. I can make sure it's here. Of course, there's going to be an extra charge for it. But this is the kind of communication and the kind of relationship that you want with everybody in that dining room. So if you have 10 tables, you want 10 people up here, right? You want people that know you, that you know by name, that all of these names are in your composition book, and you can look at them from across the room and say, "Another Doors? Another Mike? Amazing, right? Debbie, how long is it taking for that shrimp salad?" "Well, we're actually out shopping for shrimp, or catching shrimp right now. It's going to be super fresh." You haven't moved a muscle. You're still standing at the computer, and you are taking orders, you're making money, you're making friends, and everyone else in your station is jealous. They're jealous of all of these people that you're communicating with. You've just made your life so much easier just with this one tool. There's plenty more to talk about at a later time, and I will absolutely make that completely available to you guys for free. But I guess I should just ask you to text me if you would like to get more information, or you would like the recording sent to you so that you have all of it from the beginning. I also have some things in writing that might be helpful. And the book that we're working on, theoretically, should be out by 2014, hopefully by the end of the year, but look for the letters HTBT, because I'm calling it Hospitality Tips for Better Tips. It's all about how to make your life so much easier. It's going to be a little bit of an investment in time, because you have to meet the neighbors, because you have to, grab some coats and get some names. But once you have enough names in that book, and you have enough neighbors who know who you are, and they're sending people automatically, once your hostess knows that you're the only one that does the video birthday thing, and she's only referring you anytime anybody's calling up there, she's saying, "Are you celebrating a special occasion? Because I could get tipped out, because I could get $10 on this. I'm totally asking everybody." You've got so many people working for you. That's when your station is on autopilot. When your customers are taking pictures of your burgers with candles in it with their name written in ketchup, "Happy birthday, Margaret," and you're taking pictures of them trying to be rock stars, and you're saying, "Make sure you mention Rachel," or "Make sure you mention it can only happen in LeeAnne's station." Give them the words to make you viral. Once you have all of that, and that, it's not that much more effort, but it's all stuff that you're going to do before you get busy. And then I'm guaranteeing you that in a 2-week period, if you meet the store owners and the store employees around you, and you make sure that they know that if they send people to you, that you're going to hook them up, make sure that all these people have your business card, but in a way that they want it. You want to say to every business employee and every business owner, "You guys are so nice. I want to do something in return." You haven't said anything. All you've said is that they provide a service and you would like to reciprocate. You haven't said that you're going to buy them anything. But what I've done with my manager is I've asked them, if I get all of the businesses around me to refer customers, as long as it's right at 5 o'clock, if the customers come in before 5:15, is there any way I can offer like a champagne toast or something? And when my manager is like, "Hello, I could have your entire station full at 5:15, yeah, you can offer free champagne," that's when I go back to the store owners and I say, "Just so you know, I asked my boss, and he said that if you have anybody that you want to send in, that as long as it's before 5:15, I can totally hook them up with either a better table or even a champagne toast. So if they're celebrating anything, or if my station is the place to be. Do you still have my business card?" And then you hand that over to them again and again and again until everybody in the neighborhood knows who LeeAnne is. You're walking through the neighborhood like the mayor. And everybody who eventually ends up here, just keep in mind that every person that ends up in this top tier of your VIP tool is a person that might end up helping to support whatever other endeavors you're in. So I don't know if you're an author, I don't know if you're an actor, I don't know if you're a singer, I don't know if you have a construction business or a hairdresser, I don't know if you're a lawyer, or all of these people now have your text number and you can text them. And when you're not in the restaurant business and they want to know more about you, they want to know, once you start building those relationships, they want to know more about you. And so every person that gets to this top tier is actually a person in the front row of your play. They're the first person who's buying your book. They're the first person in your dental chair, because all of these people are just one thing. They're people with wallets. And you, down here, most people just keep letting them walk out of the restaurant and never seeing them again, because we're trained that it's not appropriate to walk over to a table and get familiar. So open up different opportunities where familiarity is a norm. Introducing somebody to the hostess is a norm. What is the name of your guest? So I make sure you connect. It's opening up these doors that get these people to a VIP place up here on the tool and in your life, that make your station on a completely automated business. Your manager is going to love you. Your boss is going to love you. Your life is going to be so much easier, because it seems like you're putting so much more effort into a job that they take really seriously. And now it looks like you take it really seriously too, but all you're doing is taking your waiter job and adding a different facet to it when you're not busy. You're now a small business owner of a station that has no rent, no overhead, no inventory. You can make so much money. It's insane. You're going to start waking up every morning and thinking, if I meet more people and direct them to my station, I am going to be a millionaire. You're going to start thinking of all these ways. Every person that you meet is going to be, bank tellers. I put now business cards in my bills so that everybody knows if they're in New York City to stop by where I work. I want my name everywhere so that everybody can stop by, and I can make more money for my boss, but I make more money and more connections for me. So that's my thought for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm back here probably on Monday, but I will record this. If you want to get in touch with me, I'll send you the recording. I don't know exactly how this website Ustream works. It may be accessible, it may not, but if you just contact me, I will send it to you. Okay, I wish you all the best and all the money in the world. Okay? Okay, bye.